In recent years, the Middle East has remained one of the most strategically sensitive regions in the international security landscape. The presence of global powers, competing regional interests, and critical maritime trade routes makes the region a focal point for geopolitical tensions that can resonate far beyond its borders. Against this backdrop, recent intelligence reports suggesting that Russia may have provided targeting information to Iran for potential strikes against United States forces in the region have drawn attention among analysts and policymakers. According to reports cited by several international media outlets, including the Washington Post, 3 U.S. officials familiar with the intelligence assessment indicated that Moscow may have shared information about the location of American military assets, including naval vessels and aircraft operating in the Middle East. While these claims remain unconfirmed publicly, and officials from the Kremlin, the Central Intelligence Agency, and the Pentagon have declined to comment, the possibility alone raises important questions about the evolving dynamics of great power competition and proxy conflicts. The Middle East has long served as a crossroads for international military presence. The United States maintains several bases, naval deployments, and air operations across the region, largely aimed at maintaining regional stability, protecting key maritime routes, and supporting allied security frameworks. Iran, meanwhile, has developed a regional network of political and military partnerships that extends through several areas of the Middle East. These overlapping security architectures create a complex environment where local conflicts can intersect with broader global rivalries. If intelligence sharing between Russia and Iran were occurring, even indirectly, it could represent a notable development in how major powers interact within this environment. Russia's global intelligence capabilities are widely recognized among defense analysts. The country operates a network of military reconnaissance satellites, electronic surveillance platforms, and long-range radar systems designed to monitor military movements across different regions of the world. Iran, by comparison, has more limited space-based surveillance infrastructure. Although Tehran has launched several satellites in recent years, it does not operate a large independent satellite constellation capable of continuous global monitoring. This difference in capability has led some analysts to speculate that external intelligence support could significantly enhance Iran's ability to track and monitor foreign military deployments in real time. If reports about Russian intelligence assistance are accurate, the implications could be significant. Intelligence sharing does not necessarily mean direct military involvement, but it can influence how conflicts unfold. Access to updated situational awareness, such as the location of naval assets or aircraft, can affect strategic calculations. For example, knowing where an aircraft carrier group or surveillance aircraft might be operating could alter defensive planning or force posture in a region where multiple militaries operate in close proximity. However, the information reported by U.S. officials remains part of an intelligence assessment rather than a publicly verified fact. Governments often evaluate incomplete or evolving data when forming such assessments. Intelligence reporting can include signals intelligence, satellite imagery analysis, and other sources that are rarely disclosed in detail to the public. As a result, analysts outside government institutions typically approach such reports cautiously, focusing on broader patterns rather than specific operational claims. From a geopolitical perspective, the potential alignment of interests between Russia and Iran is not entirely unexpected. Over the past decade, the two countries have cooperated in several strategic arenas, particularly in Syria, where both governments supported the Syrian state during the long-running civil conflict. That cooperation included coordination between military forces, intelligence sharing, and diplomatic engagement in regional negotiations. While their partnership is not a formal alliance, both countries have often found common ground in opposing Western military influence in certain regions. At the same time, Russia's global strategic priorities extend far beyond the Middle East. Since the escalation of the war in Ukraine, Moscow has been engaged in a prolonged confrontation with Western governments. In that context, some analysts argue that Russia may benefit indirectly from geopolitical situations that divide the attention of the United States and European allies. A prolonged or expanding crisis in the Middle East could potentially shift diplomatic focus, military resources, or political attention away from other regions of conflict. Whether this strategic calculation plays a role in Russian decision-making is difficult to determine from open-source information, but it remains part of the broader analytical debate. Energy markets also play a role in shaping strategic perceptions. The Middle East remains one of the most important sources of global oil supply. Periods of instability in the region often lead to higher energy prices due to concerns about potential disruptions to production or transportation routes. Some analysts note that rising oil prices could indirectly benefit energy exporting countries, including Russia, which relies heavily on hydrocarbon exports for government revenue. However, the relationship between geopolitical crises and energy markets is complex, influenced by global supply chains, strategic reserves, and shifting demand patterns. Another important dimension of the issue involves maritime security. Many of the world's most important shipping lanes pass through the Middle East, including routes that connect the Persian Gulf with global markets. These maritime corridors carry not only energy shipments but also vast volumes of commercial goods. Any increase in military tensions involving major powers in these waters could affect shipping insurance costs, naval patrol operations, and international trade flows. Even limited confrontations at sea can have ripple effects across the global economy. For the United States and its partners, the possibility of expanded intelligence cooperation among rival states may prompt adjustments in operational security. Modern military deployments rely heavily on situational awareness, satellite communication, and electronic warfare capabilities. If adversaries gain improved access to information about force movements, it could influence decisions about fleet positioning, flight routes, and defensive systems. These adjustments are common in environments where multiple advanced militaries operate in proximity. The broader strategic question is whether this situation represents a temporary alignment of interests or part of a longer-term shift in global security partnerships. Could closer cooperation between Russia and Iran extend into other areas, such as technology development or regional diplomacy? Or might the reported intelligence sharing reflect a limited tactical arrangement related to specific circumstances? Analysts continue to debate these possibilities, often pointing out that international relationships are rarely static. Another factor to consider is how other global powers might respond to such developments. Countries in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East closely monitor shifts in strategic partnerships among major states. If intelligence collaboration between Moscow and Tehran were to deepen, it could influence defense planning and diplomatic strategies in multiple capitals. Some governments might strengthen regional security coordination, while others could focus on diplomatic efforts aimed at preventing escalation. In complex geopolitical situations like this, perception can be nearly as influential as reality. Even unconfirmed reports of intelligence cooperation can shape strategic narratives, influence public debate, and affect diplomatic relations. Governments often respond not only to confirmed actions but also to perceived intentions. This dynamic illustrates how information itself can become a powerful element within modern international competition. As analysts continue to review the available evidence, it is important to recognize that open-source information provides only a partial picture of global security dynamics. Intelligence assessments often evolve over time as new data emerges. Public reports may reflect only fragments of broader analytical processes occurring within government agencies. For observers outside those institutions, careful evaluation and skepticism remain essential when interpreting such developments. In the broader context of international security, the situation highlights how regional conflicts can intersect with global power rivalries. The Middle East has historically served as a stage where local tensions, strategic alliances, and global competition converge. If additional actors become indirectly involved through intelligence cooperation or logistical support, the geopolitical landscape can become even more complex. Ultimately, the discussion surrounding potential intelligence support between Russia and Iran reflects larger questions about the evolving structure of international security. How might emerging partnerships reshape the balance of power in key regions? Could technological capabilities such as satellite surveillance increasingly influence regional conflicts? And how will global institutions and diplomatic channels respond to these shifting dynamics? Understanding these questions requires a measured and fact-based approach. Reports of intelligence cooperation, whether confirmed or disputed, remind observers that modern geopolitical competition often unfolds beyond traditional battlefield scenarios. Information sharing, cyber capabilities, space-based surveillance, and strategic communications now play an increasingly central role in shaping the security environment. As global audiences follow these developments, it is important to approach the subject with analytical caution and a long-term perspective. International security issues rarely have simple explanations or immediate conclusions. Instead, they unfold through a series of interconnected decisions, strategic calculations, and geopolitical responses. Observing these dynamics carefully can provide valuable insight into how global power relationships continue to evolve in the 21st century.